This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know that, and so do I. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Okay, some infiltration and Radio Big is kind of the way that it goes about as we do our thing, no doubt about that. Anyways, how have you been? How are things? What have you been up to? Have you been staying out of trouble? You know, all the important stuff that one is supposed to ask as we are going through this multiverse of stuff of ours. I forgot to tell you, yeah, today is Monday, October the 27th of 2025, day 300th of the year, and only 65 days left to go. Yep, 65 days to go. Why does this thing sound so off today? It sounds terrible. Am I over projecting is maybe what the problem is. Let's go all the way down here because I think that sounds better. But geez, man, not sure what was going on there for a moment. So anyways, a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse, no doubt about that. That's kind of always how it goes around here. We are always hanging and banging and doing all of the fun stuff that we get to do, no doubt inside of that world of the multiverse. So our show consists of safety in the news and safety. If you're not aware of that, welcome to the show, because that's going to probably tell you some stuff that you're going to want to know or maybe not want to know at all. So we'll have to take a look at that as we go through the whole process of doing the stuff that we're get to do. So don't worry about that. We will make sure that we don't torture you too much when it's all said and done with some of the stuff that we're doing here. So that is kind of the natural things of the things that are going on. So because of our show consisting of that, we talk a little bit about everything. So if you want to interact with what the hell we have going on, simple process in doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, text messaging will be the options of the stuff that we get to do. So we would love for you to come in, hang out with us, and us get to do all kinds of interesting things. Let's not do the boring stuff. Let's do the interesting stuff, as I guess is what I'm trying to get to when it's all said and done. So there you go. Some things always happening inside of the multi. So that is the stuff that we get to do as we are hanging out. So there you go. Okay, so with that being said, when we go through all of this, I always have a plethora of news to cover. And then as of late, we have been trying to switch it up a little bit in regards of what we're sharing, not sharing, and so on. But what I can tell you is that I have some friends from Feature Story News that come in. They help me out in regards to the things that are going on, and we kind of hang out and do our thing. So if you're good with this, I will be good with it as well, and we'll get to do all kinds of fun stuff because, listen, it's about fun spending the next couple hours together and doing the thing because this is hour one. We call this one the Rated R Safety Show. Hour 2 and 3 are held on radiobig.fm as we are doing our stuff over there, as we are talking about music and entertainment. We call that the Jay Allen of the Morning Show. So with all of that, there's all kinds of things going on. So don't worry. We'll make sure to take care of you. Anyways, with that being said, let's do this. Let's bring in my friends from Feature Story News and let them start talking.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Brussels, I'm William Denslow. The US and China have agreed on the framework of a potential trade deal that will be discussed when their respective leaders meet later this week, according to the US Treasury Secretary. But both nations are seeking to avoid further escalation in a trade war between the world's two largest economies. Laura Westbrook reports from Hong Kong.
US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the 100% tariff on Chinese goods threatened by US President Donald Trump is effectively off the table, and he expected that China will resume substantial soybean purchases from the US. He also expected a deferral on China's tightened rare earth minerals controls. China's top negotiator Li Chenggan described the talks between the United States and China as candid on the trade deal, and that the two sides had reached a preliminary consensus.
Top diplomats of India and the US met in Malaysia on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit on Monday, amid ongoing trade talks. This comes as both sides have been hoping to bring ties back on track, which has been affected by US tariffs and Washington's insistence on India cutting oil purchases from Russia. Ishan Garg tells us more from New Delhi.
Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar met U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Kuala Lumpur on the sidelines of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit. The two leaders discussed regional and global issues, but all eyes are on trade negotiations between the two countries. A top U.S. official has recently said that a deal is close to being finalized, but there are few details about the concessions each side is willing to make. India-US ties have been strained since President Donald Trump imposed 50% tariffs on Indian goods and criticized New Delhi for buying Russian oil.
Paris police are continuing to question two men who were arrested in connection with the robbery at the Louvre Museum. Jewels worth more than $100 million were stolen from the world-famous museum on the 9th of October. Ross Cullen reports from Paris.
One of the men was arrested at Paris's Charles de Gaulle airport en route to Algeria, and the other man was taken into custody in the northern suburbs of the French capital. Both men are known to police and in their 30s. One man is French and the other is a dual French-Algerian national. Investigators are using DNA, fingerprints and security footage to track more of the perpetrators of the infamous break-in at the Louvre 8 days ago that took place during operating hours in broad daylight. Several pieces of historic jewellery were removed, all associated with French 19th century royalty. The suspects escaped on motorbikes after the robbery, which lasted only 7 minutes.
And the political party of Argentina's president Javier Milei has won big in the country's midterm elections. The victory comes after US President Donald Trump pledged $40 billion should Milei perform well at the polls. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. When President Trump meets Chinese President Xi Jinping on Thursday in the South Korean city of Busan, there will be an enormous amount at stake. And it was reported on Sunday that the framework of a trade agreement between the two countries has already been finalized by their respective negotiators. But in the background of the conversation, the issue of China's relationship with Russia will lurk, and especially China's supply of drone components to assist assist the Russian military in its war on Ukraine. Chongqing Kwong is a senior analyst at the Interparliamentary Alliance on China that urges lawmakers globally to demand accountability from Beijing.
At least 60% of the components being used to prosecute the war in Ukraine is Chinese made. So in fact that China can actually stop the war tomorrow should it stop selling to Russia. It's seen as a way to distract the US and NATO. So the more trouble there is in the world around, the less effort or the less resources they have to use to deal with the China threat in general. The challenge that China brings is like espionage threats, like trade war and other things. So I think they see Russia as a useful tool to contain the US and Europe in general.
China itself claims neutrality in the Ukraine conflict and denies providing lethal weapons to either party. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
FSN is an independent source of news for TV, radio and digital networks worldwide. You can find more of our minute-by-minute updates on Twitter. Follow us there at Feature Story. And we have a wealth of audio and video stories from our global news bureaus on Facebook. You can find us there by following Feature Story News. Stay tuned for further updates right here. But for now, that's the latest Feature Story News. William Denslow reporting.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the version takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth. Through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion. Available now, wherever books and audiobooks are found.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yeah, that book gives you something, all right. Just not sure exactly what it is, so there you go. Anyways, let's see, 14 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday, getting to do all the fun stuff that we get to do, so don't worry about that. We're going to take you down the multiverse of stuff because that is kind of the Armageddon of things to do. So let's start getting into the news cycle because that is what is going on. So take a listen to this. California Governor Gavin Newsom says that he's seriously considering a run for president, but not after next year's midterm election. In an interview with CBS News Morning Show, Newsom said, I'd be lying otherwise when he was asked if he's been eyeing the White House. But I guess we should hear it from him.
Is it fair to say, after the 2026 midterms, you're going to give it serious thought?
Yeah, I'd be lying otherwise. I'd just be lying, and I can't do that.
Governor, you have long said that if you ever run for the White House, you need a compelling why, a reason. Are you moving closer to figuring out your own why and your own decision?
Yeah, Nietzsche said, if you have a compelling why, you can endure any how. And so I don't think, I think the biggest challenge for anyone who runs for any office is people see right through you if you don't have that why. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. And so, look, well, that fate will determine that.
Okay, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens there, no doubt about there. So he's looking forward to present to the president, and then in 2028, and then see what exactly happens. So we'll see what happens there, no doubt about that. Anyways, New York head coach Aaron Glenn honors Nick Mangold in an emotional press conference after the legend's death at the age of 41. Let's take a listen.
He was the heart and soul of this team. He had a number of kids, and it's always tough to hear that, especially a guy that's a true Jet through and through, that made his appearance felt. And I'm sure you guys seen him around a number of times. So prayers goes out to him and his family. And that's tough to hear. It's tough to hear because of who he was as a person, him being a true Jet. Prayers goes out to him and his family.
So a lot of stuff going on there. Terrible news, of course, with that taking place. Anyways, take a listen to this one. French police have arrested 2 suspects in connection with a $102 million jewel heist, catching the men just as they were about to flee the country. One suspect was stopped at Charles de Gaulle Airport while trying to fly to Algeria, and the other was arrested heading to Mali. Officials confirmed both men are French nationals and from a suburb in Paris. Already known to the police as past burglaries, and investigators linked one suspect to the October the 19th robbery through DNA found inside of a helmet that was left at the scene, leading to the round-the-clock surveillance before the arrest. The 2 men are believed to have played active roles in the daring theft of 8 priceless jewels, including a crown, necklace, and brooches. One of them belonging to the Emperor Napoleon and Empress Josephine, stolen from the Apollo Gallery inside of France. The thieves used to use a modified freight elevator and an angle grinder to break in, smash the display cases, and to make off with the jewels just minutes before escaping on motorbikes. Is that like another term for motorcycles? 2 other suspects remain at large, and police are investigating whether or not someone inside of the museum helped facilitate the heist. The stolen jewels are still missing, so we'll see what exactly takes place there. Anyways, take a listen to this. When President Trump is moving forward with the plans to demolish the entire east wing of the White House to make room for the $300 million ballroom, one of the officials say that they're likely to bear his name, the President Donald Trump Ballroom. The White House says the construction will wrap before he leaves in January of 2029. Though the experts called the timeline ambitious, Trump smiled when asked if the ballroom would be named after him, refusing to confirm, but hardly denying it. The project cost almost jumped from costs already jumped from $300 to $350 million, fueled by private donations from major tech executives, including leaders from Google, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft. Trump claimed that he'll contribute millions of his own. So believe that. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things, because that's kind of what we do. You know, we talk a little bit about this, we talk a little bit about that. That's just kind of the way that it goes. So take a listen to this one. Former VP Kamala Harris says that she's not done with politics, hinting of a possible return to a public office while promoting a new political memoir, 107 Days, which chronicles her 2024 presidential campaign. In an interview with BBC, yes, I did say BBC, Harris said that public service is in her bones and that she hasn't ruled out another run for the high office. Asked if she believes that she could still become the first female president, she replied, possibly. Possibly that you could believe, or possibly that you could be it. So I'm just trying to understand that one. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse, because that is the way that things go around here. No doubt about that one. What do you think when it's all said and done? Do you think that she has the opportunity? I think opportunities, yes. Opportunities always comes knocking, so you never know what exactly could happen, but who knows? I mean, who knows what will happen in the roundabout when it's all said and done. So there you go. Let's continue talking about some other stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because I think that that's kind of what we get to do, if you don't mind me saying so myself. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about this. An animated Chainsaw Man is kind of like, involved. Well, matter of fact, let me not tell it to you that way. Let's do it this way. Let's talk about the box office and what had happened in North America. The North American box office over the weekend. Coming in at number 10 was Truth and Treason. Coming in at $933,000. And number 9 was Roofman with $2 million. There's number 8, One Battle After Another, $2.3 million. And number 7 was Shelby Oaks, $2.4 million. And number 6 was Good Fortune with $3.1 million. And number 5, Tron Ares, $4.9 million. And number 4, new movie for the week. Take a listen to this. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, $9.1 million. And number 3 was Regretting You with $12.9 million. And number 2 was Black Phone with $13 million. And the animated Chainsaw Man is the number 1 movie in the North American box office, earning retrospectively $17.3 million. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there as we are talking. So what do you think? Makes it pretty interesting, in my opinion, but, I don't know if you're really here for my opinion, but there you go. Some stuff to talk about as we are hanging out. So let's talk about this, because there are some things that are going on in some of the odd stories. So let's go through that. A couple in Texas never kiss until their wedding day. Texas newlyweds Caitlin and Drew Brown decided to do something almost unheard of in the modern dating world. They waited until their wedding day to share their first kiss. The couple, both non-denominational Christians, agreed that earlier in their relationship back in 2021 that they'd hold off any physical intimacy, no kissing and no alone time, no Netflix and chill until marriage. They said that the main love language was physical touch, so they wanted to set a strong boundaries to keep the temptation out of the equation. When they finally said I do, they almost said I do and finally kissing, and the crowd went wild. Their family and friends cheered as they just won the Super Bowl of self-control. Caitlin has shared that pretty openly online, where predictably the internet has a field day. Some applauded the couple's discipline, and the other joked that they couldn't imagine dating without at least smooching or two. Let's see. But Caitlin and Drew say that zero regrets. Their love story has been taken a scenic route, but the payoff, they say it was magical. So let's see. Guess the first kiss came with a warranty, 100% pure, never been tested. Somewhere a Hallmark movie has just wrote itself. I mean, let's just be realistic there. And their first kid had such a buildup that NASA probably tracked the launch. When the crowd cheered, half were clapping and the other half were just relieved that it finally happened. Their honeymoon probably started with, so what do we do now? And last but not least, the first kiss lasted so long that the GJ had to restart the playlist. So something to think about. There's all kinds of weird stuff that comes about, of course, when you start talking about this. I will tell you, when I was much younger, because of my upbringing, that was not uncommon to hear of people holding out along those lines. But my question always becomes, what was going on behind the scenes with the person that they were not marrying? I know, just asking that question. Don't kill me for that one.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Hey, I'm just saying. Anyways, keeping it inside of the wedding category, take a listen to this. Kate is a mom of 4 daughters, financial realist, and self-proclaimed wedding buzzkill. She's going viral after announcing that she'll pay each of her daughters $35,000 if they agree to skip the wedding bells and elope instead. Her reasoning? Weddings are a money pits dressed in lace, with the average U.S. wedding now costing over $26,000, and the couple in places like New York and D.C. spending up to $70,000. Kate says that she wants her girls to start their marriage debt-free, not drowning in it. Love loans. She's speaking from experience. She and her husband had a big, poofy wedding and spent the first 5 years of their marriage paying it off. If she could do it again, she said that she'd take the cash, buy a house, and call it a day at the city hall. Now she's teaching her daughters the same. A wedding lasts one day, but debt lasts forever, and she's not alone. Nearly 60% of couples take on debts for wedding, and most admit it tanks their finances and raises stress before they even say I do. Kate's message: skip the aisle, grab the check, and start a married life without a bill collector as your third wheel. So, would you take the $35,000 and skip your own wedding? I'm just asking, because this is a genius parenting, or is it an emotional bribery? Is there a great return on investment here? Or would you rather start a marriage with a honeymoon or a house and a down payment? If you could redo your wedding, what's the first thing that you'd cut? And don't say the dude. Leave that one for a separate conversation there. So let's see, what else? Does skipping the wedding mean missing the magic or dodging the madness? What's more stressful, wedding planning or paying for it? And let's see, what's the price to call off a wedding? $35,000. Would you take it? $35,000 to skip a wedding? I'd skip the reception just for free parking. Honestly, $35,000 sounds like a better commitment than most marriages. And skip the vows and grab the Venmo is maybe the other thing to think about. And finally, a prenup that comes with a signing bonus. I'm just saying, I know.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, Rated R Safety Show, no doubt there. Anyways, a baseball game turned into a bit of a fast food mystery Saturday night when fans at the Toronto Rogers Center spotted Colonel Sanders look-alike sitting right behind home plate during Game 2 at the World Series between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. The man was dressed into the nines in, Colonel Sanders' signature white suit, black bow tie, and white goatee. And it wasn't just for laughs. Some fans believe that it was a sneaky attempt to rattle the Dodgers' Japanese players, invoking the famous Curse of the Colonel. The legend comes back to 1985 when Japan's Tigers threw a statue of Colonel Sanders into the canal after winning the Japan series. The team then endured 38-year championship drought, supposedly cursed by fried chicken founder's ghost. The Dodgers, who have been 3 Japanese stars, Sohei Asante, Shiniboshi Yamamoto, and I'm going to butcher the last one, Roki Sasaki, didn't seem to be two-faced. Yamato dominated the mound, leading LA to a 5-1 victory to even the series. So while the Blue Jays fans behind the plate brought the look, the Colonel couldn't deliver in the win. So there you go. Also, guess the Blue Jays were hoping for extra crispy pitching, but it didn't happen. The original recipe, disappointment instead. The man didn't bring good luck, but he did bring 11 herbs, spices, and sorrows. The Dodgers, nice try, Colonel, but the bucket list was already ready. And also, even though the Colonel is in the house, the Blue Jays still got fried. Just something to talk about. And someone tells Toronto that superstition is on the side dish, so there you go. Or maybe it's not a side dish when it's all said and done. Also, he came dressed as a drumstick the competition, but the Dodgers winged it anyways. So a lot of stuff to think about depending on how you want to take a look around as we are talking. Anyways, WTF, or welcome to Florida. Let's talk about this one. A Florida man 46-year-old was snorkeling in Boca Chita Key on Saturday morning when a shark suddenly attacked him, biting his arm several times and leaving him with 27 stitches needed. He was lucky to survive. The shark nearly tore off his arm. Rescued and treated at Miami, the man warned others to be careful when swimming, admitting that it was be a while before he gets back into the water in Florida. As usual, it remains the world's capital of shark bites, accounting for about, U.S. cases of, about half of the U.S. cases, a third of the global ones. And yes, that's even counting the one guy that was bitten while posing for a photo of a shark, because, it's Florida. WTF, welcome to Florida. Yeah, that's what it stands for. So he wanted to go snorkeling and the shark wanted a Cuban sandwich. I guess that's one way to look at it. And nothing like a, hey, bite of Florida. Remember my vacation. He's now the only guy who can high five with half of the enthusiasm. Also, Shark Week is just called. They wanted exclusive rights to his arm. And that shark wasn't attacking. It was just doing quality control. Be careful in the water, he says, meaning that if the shark posting on Yelp, too chewy, 27 stitches, the shark must have frequent biter cards. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about as we are moving and grooving. Take a listen to this one. Newark police had a wild morning, literally, after reports flooded about a monkey running loose through the city. Officers rushed to George King Village, ready for a jungle rescue, but found nothing but humans and confusion. Public Safety Director Emmanuel Miranda confirmed that the supposed monkey sighting were actually part of a social media hoax fueled by AI-generated photos and videos. No bananas, no chimps, no chaos. Just a reminder that everything you see online is not real. Duh. So guess the monkeys were just AIing around. Turns out the only monkey business in Newark was online. And officers went ape trying to find with no luck. Imagine explaining to dispatch, we're chasing code, not chimps. Yeah, I think that's going to be a weird conversation when it's all said and done. If you give that some thoughts, no doubt about that. What else do we got? Let's see. Woman says that a fiance's sisters copy everything that she does, and it's starting to get a little creepy. A little creepy. I think it sounds a lot creepy. Let's go into this. A 30-year-old bride to be shared her unsettling story on Reddit about her fiance's younger sister, who seems to have taken inspiration way too far. What started as a harmless admiration, asking about outfits, copying haircuts, and even mimicking phrases, has spiraled into a full single white wedding territory. The sister, 26, is now planning her own wedding on the same venue, the same caterer, the same photographer, and even the same first dance song, all within months of her brother's nuptials. When confronted, the sister brushed it off, saying, "You have to such good taste. Don't be selfish about it." Meanwhile, the fiancé thinks that his fiancée is being catty and insists that his sister is just sweet and looks up to her. Commenters on Reddit weren't buying it. Most of them called the sister's behavior definitely weird and blasted the fiancé for ignoring the red flags. Some warned the woman that marrying a man who won't defend her boundaries could spell trouble later. Others suggested going into info diet, stop sharing wedding details, and let the sister's creepy copycat routine expose itself when it's all said and done. So I guess it gets kind of interesting when it's all said and done if you really give it some thought. Man, does the world get weird sometimes.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, main story time, 33 minutes past the top of the hour as we are doing our thingo, no doubt about that. So a lot of stuff going on into the multiverse of ours, and we start looking and we start hanging and we start banging, we start doing a little bit of everything. But at the end of the day, there has to always be the question, and it's the question of questions when it's all said and done. Are you doing the things that you deem are correct inside of the workplace? Are you doing the things that even if no one was looking, would you be doing what is deemed quote unquote safe? And some people go, well, when you start asking these questions, it gets a little tricky. Listen, I'm not saying you need to be out there and being perfect, because some people will get confused with some of that stuff. That's not the case. What we are talking about here is when you are doing your thing, are you living up to the stuff that you claim that you do? Are you living up to the stuff that you tell others should be done? In other terms, some people might even go as far as saying, do you practice what you preach? Because if you don't, it gets kind of weird. It gets kind of weird when people see you doing the things that you always tell others that they should be doing, but you're not doing it. Because people notice that. And listen, I will tell you, I have probably had more convos with people telling me, oh, yes, I noticed that you were doing X. And I had no idea that they were watching me. So if it's happening to me, I'm pretty sure it's probably happening to you as well, as people are watching from afar in regards of taking a look at what's going on. And then my question becomes this. If you're doing quote unquote the right thing, are you looking at this and going, this makes the most logical sense to do, but at the same time too, is it actually the right thing to do? Because sometimes, even when we're using logic, it does not necessarily mean that it is the correct thing to do. It's just some of the stuff that kind of happens. Listen, I will tell you that for the longest time, I have had a belief system that behavior-based safety was the only thing that made sense, and anything outside of that was probably questionable. And I would not look at anything else besides that. And that did not only happen for a short period of time, it happened for a very long period of time. Now, the weird part here is that I had to hear somebody, I won't say competing, but we'll say debating with someone else that was talking about behavior-based safety, and they brought up other concepts that only in that magical setting was I willing to take a listen to something else that made sense. Because I always knew that something was off, but I couldn't tell what. It became one of those things, are we living to the brand, if that makes sense? Are we living to what should be done? Or was it one of those things that I was just going, oh, whatever happens, happens? Because, you know, we have a lot of that occurs as well. So with that being said, if you were looking into the mirror, not the crystal ball, of course, and you had to be truthful with yourself, would you honestly be able to say that the things you are doing are the things that should be done and not the things that might come into questions by others later on? Maybe that is the way we should think about this.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' best life insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system. The simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories. When safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
I dreamt last night
go. Currently 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out doing our thing. No doubt there. Always a good time when you and I get to hang out, no doubt about that. At least on my end, I feel that way. So there it is. So as we are going down this multiverse of ours, let's start talking. Let's start focusing on what's important. And this right here that we're taking a listen to, this is VELVETTICA with Stereo Minds. Yeah, that's what we do. We like to listen to some music around here. We'd like to thank VELVETTICA for allowing us to play this. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. If you want to come and take a listen, a little streamer-eamer action of it, we would love for you to do so. No doubt there. Okay, so there you go. Stereo Minds, always the way to go about some of this stuff inside of this world of the multiverse. No doubt about that. Anyways, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com, and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, there will be all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the multi, because that is what is going on. A viral Reddit post is touching the hearts of women, shared how she found comfort following the death of her great-grandmother, and a powerful sign that eased her years of guilt. The woman described her great-grandmother as resilient Polish matriarch who survived World War II, raised 2 children alone, and she became the cornerstone of their family. But when the woman was unable to be there for her passing, she carried deep guilt for years. One night, overwhelmed, she begged for a sign of her great-grandmother was at peace. The next day, during an online class, a comment appeared from someone with a great-grandmother with the exact name, saying they were enjoying the course. Though she acknowledged that it could be a coincidence, the timing felt divine. She said that the moment felt like a boom from God and gave her a reassurance that she'd long prayed for. The woman concluded that she now believes that her loved one remains with us in spirit, still watching, still caring, and even when they're gone. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about. What do you think? I think it's an interesting one, don't get me wrong, but I just think it's kind of an oddball one at the same time, too. Let's just not lie. If you're asking my opinion about stuff, that is kind of the way that it goes, because I will tell you what exactly is going on inside of my mind. Okay, let me give you 2. Are we going for 2 or are we going for 1? I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, let's just go for 1, and then we'll figure out if we're going to do 2. This kind of does it for the trick. Charmin making a massive splash again, and not just in the bathroom. The company just relaunched the 1,700 sheets Forever Roll, the toilet paper roll so huge that it can last a month, or unrolled, reach the height of Washington Monument. Originally the millennial gag gift in 2019, it's now back for everyone, available on Amazon for about $34 with its own stand, because it's literally too big for the normal holder. Charmin marketing says that the people tired of changing the roll every time. The company said that the VP can even call it a big pain in the butt, unintentionally perfect wording, and apparently it's also being promoted as a holiday gift, since 60% of people say that they'd actually welcome toilet paper as a present. The other 40% probably would just lie about, and how much they use. So something to think about. So finally, a toilet paper that outlasts the New Year's resolutions. It's not just a roll, it's a relationship. It's like Costco married Mount Everest. Now you can measure your bathroom breaks in miles. Forever Roll, because, Love fades, but wiping is forever. Just in time for the holidays, nothing says I care like 1,700 sheets of comfort. Something to think about. Anyways, this is the Jay Allen of the Morning Show. Let's get some, some John Smalls coming your way right now. Let's do that.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Charles. Jack Kerouac said, "I hope it's true that man can die and yet not only live in others, but give them life. And not only life, but that great consciousness of life." What a great thought. I think this is true. I know many people who are sadly no longer with us, but they live on in our memories. There's a saying that we die twice, once when we die, and once more when the last person who knows us dies. That's why it's good to make your mark while you're here. So hopefully you'll live on way longer than that time frame. Think about Moses. That was thousands of years ago, but we know him because he made an impact that lasted way, way, way beyond his lifetime.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
This is News in 60 with Alan Edwards.
Russian forces launched a series of overnight drone and missile attacks on Kiev, killing at least 4 people and injuring more than 20 others.
Emergency crews spent much of the morning clearing debris from several apartment buildings struck in the assault.
Police in Paris say several suspects have been arrested following the theft of priceless crown jewels from the Louvre museum earlier this month.
The stolen collection, valued at tens of millions of dollars, included pieces once worn by French monarchs.
President Donald Trump has arrived in Malaysia to begin a high-stakes diplomatic tour across Asia, with scheduled meetings in Japan and South Korea later this week.
The talks come as the United States and China reached a preliminary framework aimed at avoiding an escalation in their ongoing tariff dispute.
The federal government shutdown entered its 26th day Sunday, leaving hundreds of thousands of workers still furloughed or unpaid.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent warned that funding to pay U.S. service members could run out by mid-November.
From Feature Story News in Brussels, I'm William Denslow. The political party of Argentina's President Javier Milei has won big in the country's midterm elections. The victory comes after US President Donald Trump pledged $40 billion should Milei's party perform well at the polls. The US Treasury Secretary says that Washington and Beijing have agreed on a framework potential trade deal, and Paris police are continuing to question 2 men who were arrested in connection with the robbery at the Louvre Museum.
More hits to help you work. Because to get rich, you gotta work hard.
Yeah, dude, look, I just made so much money that I could just sit around on my ass all day and play video games.
Wait, I forgot about Dogecoin.
Dogecoin rules!
Okay, you know how it feels. Dogecoin rules. That's what I'm being told. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are still hanging out, doing all kinds of fun stuff as we are, doing our thing. Anyways, 54 minutes past the top of the hour as we are talking and doing all kinds of stuff over here inside of the world of the multiverse. So let's start talking right away about the Dow, because we didn't talk about it. The Dow increased by 472 points on Friday to close at 47,207. The S&P increased by 53 points to close at 6,791. And the NASDAQ increased by 263 points to close at 23,204. West Texas Intermediate closed at $61 a barrel on Friday, and Brent crude was at $64 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.05 on Sunday. Bitcoin gained over the weekend, trading just around $113.5 thousand. And Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $714 million jackpot, or a $334 million cash payout. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $358 million jackpot or $170.7 million cash payout. So I guess if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. No doubt about that one. What do you think? Some stuff for sure. No doubt about that. Anyways, let's talk real quick about, let's see. Today in history, if we're taking a look back in 2022, Elon Musk takes ownership and control over Twitter and immediately fires 4 executives. So there you go. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, Theodore Roosevelt, 26th president, died in 1919, but today would have been his birthday. John Class turns 86. Lee Greenford turns 83. What else do we got? Gary Talent turns 76. Simon Le Bon turns 67. Sherry Rappaport turns 48. And Kelly Osbourne turns 41 today. So there you go. Some birthdays going on. If you wanted to know that. Let's see. Do you want to talk about some weird facts for today? Thomas Edison didn't finish elementary school. Maybe you didn't know that one, but maybe it's something to talk about because, it gets kind of weird when you start thinking about it because not really something that you would know. So there you go. So do you want to talk about things you ought to know? Let's do that. Here are some things you ought to know. Here are Friday's winning Mega Million numbers. 11, 18, 31, 51, 56. Mega Ball was 24. Nobody won the jackpot, which means tomorrow's jackpot climbs to $714 million. The New York Giants rookie running back Cam Scatto suffered a significant-looking ankle injury during his team Week 8 game against the Philadelphia Eagles, if you did not know. Also, William Brown won yesterday's Xfinity 500 NASCAR race. There you go. And U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said yesterday the military personnel will start missing paychecks by November the 15th if the government shutdown continues. I think I'll be able to pay them at the beginning of November, but by November the 15th, our troop service members who are willing to risk their lives aren't going to be able to get paid. Bessent said that in an interview on CBS Face the Nation. So there you go. Anyways, if I can leave you with some words of wisdom for today, I would love to leave you with this. Things may feel heavy, and that's okay. The rain never asks you to smile. It just reminds you how flowers grow. You will bloom again, softer but stronger. Think about that. Anyways, this has been the Rated R Safety Show. We're going to the Jay Allen of the Morning Show is what we call hour 2 and 3 at radiobig.fm. If you want to come over there and hang out with us on that side of the network, you're more than welcome on doing that. If you don't want to go over there and you still want to hang out on Safety FM, you can hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
I see 6 and 9s. We don't know.